The details, including sports entertainment, coming up this hour. Stay with us.
In our very first story, after narrowly escaping death from the collapse of their classroom block, kindergarten pupils at Bonsaho DA School at the Atimokwa district of the Central Region are struggling to hold classes. Pupils study without a board and have inadequate furniture. A report by Spencer Kwabena Boate Mensah.
Time was up for pupils at Bonsaho DA School to say the Lord's Prayer and pledge to be faithful to Ghana, but attendance was poor for several reasons. Lessons had begun, but pupils in this class study in fear that the weak building put up many years ago could come down at any time to claim lives and halt academics. At the beginning of this academic year, about 50 kindergarten 1 and 2 pupils narrowly escaped death when their classroom block collapsed before school hours. School authorities have improvised a structure for the children to have classes. However, furniture and writing boards are unavailable for the combined class, forcing the school authority to stop KG2 pupils from bringing books to school. For about a month now, these pupils come to school every day to learn and revise poems. The dusty nature of the classroom is the reason, and this puts a question on the provision of quality education for all. Teachers speaking off camera said if the situation persists, it will take time for the kids to pick up. The chief of Bonsaho Nana Piakubi recounted some teachers who are unable to face the challenges of the school leave the community, leaving the kids to their fate. Old students of Bonsaho DA School are therefore calling on authorities to consider their constitutional mandate of providing equal rights to educational opportunities and facilities for all.
And the absence of elective maths, chemistry and biology teachers in the Bungurugu Senior High Technical School in the Northern Region is hampering quality teaching and learning. The 2 general science teachers in the school double as biology and chemistry tutors.
The Bungurugu Senior High Technical School was established in 1991. The school currently has a student population of 1,724. Lessons begin at exactly 7 a.m. each day and ends at 1:45 p.m. with 2 breaks at 10 a.m. and noon. Total of 9 subjects are treated each day, but 2 out of the 9 lessons are lost to their dining periods. Students spend close to 1 hour for breakfast because they are forced to run shifts at the dining hall due to its relatively small nature.
When students go for dining, there are some old benches and tables there. They serve a few at a time, and therefore the students eat in batches. They are spending quite some time instead of just the normal 20 minutes.
Headmaster of the school, Mohammed Ayana, said construction of a dining hall has stalled.
About a year ago, when the contractor came to site, I called him 3 days ago, and he said he's still waiting for payment from Get Fund, and that when the payment is done, he'll return to site and he'll get the roof over it.
Though a technical school, it also offers science courses such as integrated and agricultural sciences. Even though there are no tutors to teach biology, chemistry and elective mathematics, it currently depends on non-specialized teaching staff, with only 2 general science teachers dabbling as biology and chemistry teachers.
And away from the Northern Region, residents of Atadeka and New York in the Thon Katamanso constituency have expressed worry over the lack of street lights and bad road network connecting motorists in the community and beyond, while according to them, they do not feel safe following constant attacks and robberies at night.
The 10-kilometer stretch links many communities in the area, but the road is in a deplorable state. When someone falls sick, we struggle to even get a vehicle to convey the person to the hospital because drivers hardly ply this road.
especially rainy season, we find it difficult to pass here. So most of the time we get fault because of the nature of the road. It's a very bad road.
We don't have street light. Owing to this, we experience frequent robbery attacks. We spend a lot of money buying spare parts because our vehicles break down often.
Due to the situation, our children are forced to trek to school because the drivers hardly ply the stretch. These have been the concerns for the past 7 years.
We have tried all our best for us to face the road. Unfortunately, anytime we do the movement, things rather cross it and then the road will not be done.
We checked with the Katamanso District Assembly, but the Chief Executive Officer declined to speak. Urgent attention is needed to restore the socio-economic activities in the area.
You're watching News 360 from Adisanwe here in Accra. And tension is mounting at Tema PSC shipyard over the activities of two rival unions that represent the staff. The problem, if not resolved, could spark labor unrest at the country's port as the two unions, Maritime and Dock Workers Union and Ports Seamen Maritime and Dockers Union, are at each other's throat.
The two rivalry unions are the Port Seamen Maritime Dockers Union and the Maritime Dock Workers Union of the TUC. The Maritime and Dock Workers Union of the TUC have been agitating for the removal of the Managing Director, Captain Francis Micah of the PSC shipyard. But the leadership of the Senior Staff Union of GPHA, who are members of the Maritime Dock Workers Union of the TUC, disagrees.
In an unstable environment as a result of disturbances in labor front, there is no way productivity can be attained. That the Chief Executive and the HR of the shipyard be moved, we found it very unfortunate.
Appeals have been made to the Transport Ministry to intervene and restore calm.
And the advent of the information revolution has brought with it a new form of criminal behavior, cybercrime. Cybercrime is growing faster in Africa than on any other continent. The Ministry of Communications will, from Monday, October 23 to 27, hold the Cybersecurity Week. This year's celebration is themed Securing Ghana's Digital Journey. Ghana is set to ratify the Convention on Cybercrime by the end of 2017 to enhance the country's resolve to combat the crime. National Cybersecurity Advisor Albert Nchuboisiakun will be joining us in a moment, and we're going to have some discussion with him too. Hello, Albert. Good evening, and thank you for agreeing to speak to us.
Hi. Good evening to you, Isa, and also to your viewers.
Right. Is the rate of cybercrime in Ghana anything to worry about?
Well, this is an interesting question. What I can tell you is Ghana is developing as far as ICT is concerned. In other words, every single day we have a new device which connects to the internet, which connects to network. And by that development, we should be expecting the rate of cyber attacks, to increase. It's rational that as the country is taking steps to embrace technology in every aspect of our economy, whether in a business, at the individual level, in government, then we provide attack vectors. We provide different options, target point for cyber attack. So yes, the statistics, whether it's from Bank of Ghana, whether it's a research conducted by an industry player, whether it is a government research paper on cybercrime trends, I think that is the background that we should see these issues. Indeed, cybercrime is increasing. This is a fact. And it's increasing because of the way Ghana is embracing ICT. Ghana is developing, and it's one of the topmost countries in which we experience a high rate of ICT penetration. And hence, we should expect also an increase in cyber attacks.
Yes, we are yet to ratify the Convention on Cybercrime, and that will be by the end of 2017. But how will this kind of ratification enhance the country's resolve to combat the crime?
It's very important. You know, dealing with cybercrime means we're looking at different angles. There is a technical angle where you need to step up certain technical controls to protect your network. There is an aspect of capacity building where you need to train people to be aware of cyber crimes. There is an aspect of legislation. We need to enhance our laws and operationalize existing legislation to be able to deal with the issues. But most importantly, as you mentioned, the need for international cooperation. And there is a fundamental reason for that. If you conduct a basic analysis among our citizens, most of us are using Gmail's, Yahoo's, Hotmail's account. And if you find out these data, the information that we are exchanging, they are sitting on servers, certain in the US, for example. So let's say typically a fraudster in Ghana has perpetrated fraud using Gmail. Certain information are certain somewhere in California, but our CID will have to obtain that evidence to prove his case beyond a reasonable doubt in the court of law. The implication is Ghana needs to reach out to the international players. We need to facilitate that kind of relationship at the international level to be able to obtain that information that will be admissible in a court of law. So it is one practical angle of looking at why Ghana needs to accede to the Budapest Convention. Because generally, we are using technology which has been developed by countries in Europe and the US, and these countries have acceded to the convention. So it becomes easier that we can fight cybercrime across different borders. And it is necessary. Ghana is making progress in that area. But the police will tell you they get stuck when they need to go beyond the boundaries of this country. And hence there's a need to reach out to our international partners. And the Budapest Convention is one of the best international instrument to rely on as far as dealing with cybercrime is concerned.
Right. I mean, we have recently experienced the digitization of Ghana's property address system. It's fantastic. I tried it recently and I love it. So what is the danger? What should we be afraid of?
I'm happy you've mentioned that. You know, tomorrow is starting the National Cybersecurity Week. And there are different reasons why the event is coming up. And one of the key reasons, you know, from the government perspective is the rate at which currently we have in digitalization. The national identification system, the digital addressing system is in play. The paperless portals there, Registrar General, going digital. All this development, you know, moves towards the angle of ICT development, which I shared with you earlier on. And as a matter of fact, specific measures have been taken before the digital addressing system, you know, was launched. There was a stakeholder discussion looking at the privacy and data protection aspect of it. And we also having a meeting this very week to make sure that we conduct regular security assessment audit on infrastructure. And I think the system has even been designed from the security angle, and the Minister for Communication mentioned this during the launch of the initiative. I am particularly interested in that area, and we've made the necessary recommendation as far as the security around that system is concerned. We're working hand in hand with NITA, which is housing the infrastructure, to ensure that, you know, privacy is protected, data which is being transferred, you know, as far as that project is concerned, are protected. So it is a serious priority for the government, and specific measures are being done to ensure its protection. Absolutely, it is designed to be protected, and I don't think citizens have got any fear of any sort as far as their data is concerned.
Thank you very much, Albert, for speaking to us. And I'm sure we will come back to you as soon as there are issues to talk about, because you know, the technology industry moves faster than the human mind.
Well, if you are a personnel of the Ghana Police Service, this news might be of great interest to you, because the police administration is ensuring every 7 police personnel with an insurance package of 50,000 cedis. Under this comprehensive insurance package, 3 children of a personnel who dies in line of duty shall enjoy free education up to tertiary level.
The 4-year transformational agenda by the police is aimed at changing the mindset of personnel, as well as ensuring the promotion of the welfare of serving personnel.
As part of the welfare package, very soon, every police officer will have an insurance cover of 50,000 cedis in case of death in line of duty. Even if one should die accidentally or naturally, the family will be entitled to 25,000 Ghana cedis.
Addressing the closing ceremony of a compulsory motor traffic and transport department training in Accra, the Inspector General of Police, David Asantia Pietu, urged all service personnel to support the new agenda.
All of us have suffered from delays in reimbursement of medical expenses. This package has provided 12,500 for critical ailment. What is more interesting about this package is that in the event of death in line of duty, 3 children will be catered for from nursery to tertiary institutions.
Director General, Police MTTD, COP Maxwell Atingani, told TV3 personnel of the service will be judged by their performance on the road.
The way and manner that we are supposed to operate as MTTD, the public will see drastic change. We want the face to change. We want to satisfy the public, and that's it.
A total of 665 newly drafted MTTD personnel took part in the transformational training in 10 batches over 10 weeks to be deployed in the Accra region. The public is to identify the new MTTD with additional badge embossed on their left shoulder and report any misconduct to the nearest police station.
And the Kweshi Divisional Police Commander ACP Felix Ofosu-Agyeman has called on civil society in the Lejokuku-Krowa municipality to support the police in combating crime. He also called for the reformation of watchdog groups in various communities to ensure suspected characters are flushed out.
The newly appointed Kweshi Divisional Police Commander, ACP Felix Ofosu-Agyeman, observed crime combat the world over has become a shared responsibility. The commander proposed the reformation of watchdog groups in various communities to ensure suspected characters are dealt with.
We go into the community and then integrate them, then charge the community to support them. You know, it's a voluntary kind of service. So we charge the community members to support them by way of maybe their uniform, their shoes and money to ginger them to perform their roles effectively.
He cautioned civil society not to assume the powers of the police, urging them to hand over suspected characters. ACP Felix Ofosu-Agyeman entreated members of the Lejokuku-Krowa municipality to lend the necessary support. Kweshi Divisional Police Commanders meeting with the residents of Lejokuku-Krowa municipality is aimed at educating the public about police readiness to fight crimes in the municipality.
In other news, it is one of the most vilified religious groups in the world, but it seems to be one of the most organized groups and the only Christian organization that has named their meeting places as Kingdom Halls. Godfrey Tanam spent some time with Jehovah Witnesses and has come through with this report.
It is very common to find people later around when a lot of people converge at a particular area. But with thousands of people gathered here, it is very difficult to even find a sachet lying on the ground.
Obviously, without people littering around, nature will give the environment a different look. No one is specifically assigned or employed to clean the surroundings, but members take up the role to constantly keep the environment clean. Although members carry plastic bags containing food and other items, none drops these bags around. With the practice of waste segregation, which has become difficult to practice among Ghanaians in general, the witnesses have given it prominence. The organization so far stands out with water harvesting. Water for Ghana Water Company is processed for drinking, whilst rainwater is harvested for the toilets and for watering lawns.
Spending some few minutes with the Jehovah Witnesses here, one wonders why Russia will consider them as extremists and ban them from the country.
We also puzzle at that. Our being very well organized is not because we are some special people. It's because of the training we receive from the Bible. So if Russia has decided that we are extremists, the general populace judge for themselves.
But how does this affect propagation and their practice?
We don't give up.
Members were encouraged to build up hope in their lives, no matter the situation they find themselves in.
We must start now to work hard to strengthen our hope in that future blessing.
Well, with hope and determination, one can be assured of fighting any challenge that may arise. Godfrey Tanam, TV3 News, Accra.
And the country's food safety policy, adopted on April 27, 2015, is yet to be enacted into law and implemented. This would have helped with the enforcement of food safety and standards that will make institutions and individuals more responsible for their actions.
The National Food Safety Policy is to protect consumers. At a training workshop in Accra for journalists by the National Codex Committee, a member of the committee, John Odame Dakwa, noted the need to change behaviors that are inconsistent with food safety practices. The change, he indicated, must include measures that would protect food from contamination through Ghana's food chain. He stated science and technology should be the bedrock of one district, one factory initiative.
We are growing for food. We are growing food for wealth. We also have the one district, one factory push. These are two-pronged approaches to reduce poverty, to make money available for national development. And to me, standard is the key. That food should be able to trade it in on the marketplace.
Head of Public Relations at the Ghana Standards Authority, Dr. Kofi Amponsa Bediako, said Codex will ensure that exported food items are safe and competitive.
We can also export them to other countries. Because it is safe, people are likely to buy from you. You get a lot of foreign exchange. So it's important that as much as possible, we are able to produce for our people locally and also export to other countries so we can make a lot of money and make the country rich.
Deputy Director General of the Ghana Standards Authority, Kofi Nagate, noted ensuring food safety and standards will aid fair trade among countries.
Ghana, like other countries, engages in international trade in the area of food imports and exports. Whatever is imported or exported must be safe for consumption. Otherwise, various countries cannot collaborate with each other through international food trade. We all know about the banning of exports of vegetables to the EU because of food standards, because we're not meeting their standards. That's all.
For food safety to be promoted in the country, budget allocation must be adequate and reasonable. There is also a need for support from institutions and private sector, as well as government, which should make food safety as a public health issue.
The police in Sakumono are seeking public assistance in locating the whereabouts of 10-year-old Elizabeth Amwali Tete. She reportedly left her Lashibi residence around 5 p.m. Tuesday, October 17, and has since not been seen. All efforts at tracing Elizabeth have not been successful. She is dark in complexion, about 4 feet tall, and speaks only Fanti. Anyone who knows her whereabouts should please contact the nearest police station. Volunteers may also call the police emergency number 191 or crime fighters toll-free number 18555 to assist.
Now let's check out the latest weather report. It says the southern half of the country will be partly cloudy with cases of thunderstorms and rain over a few places, especially in the western region, while the northern half will experience cool night with stable weather. Early morning misty conditions expected over the coast tomorrow.
The weather report is brought to you by
and you're watching News 360 on TV3. We will return with Mission in a moment.
A baby is the best gift from God to mom. Soft care is the best gift from mom to baby. The soft cotton material gives the child maximum comfort. Enjoy free time. Enjoy happy time. Enjoy soft care time. Soft care, baby diaper. More care, more love. Soft care baby diaper. Best gift for baby.
I come pass. I am Otopa. I'm away to me, I drink cocoa. For new card be rich journey. Are you come on Ankasa? Na asanso I am Otopa. Nedane yasrum kopai.
Ya Baby's Holiday, coming soon on TV3. Yeehaw! 20 years on and we are still entertaining. What do you remember on TV3? This October, we bring you Nostalgic Digest at 5 p.m. Oh yeah, you heard me. Get ready to laugh your heart out as we reminisce with Ejafari, Kofori, and Tibi and Co. in the ever hilarious Efiera.
Ejafari! If you said that they would die,
now, do you remember the mischief of Chemu in Choco Trotro?
and I am Masmo.
What about the memorable walking from Pusha, smooth talking Shaker, BB, and almighty Black Goji in Things We Do for Love?
Hey, life domination.
As if that is not enough, we want to remind you of how TV3 electrified Ghana when there were power crises. What did you go through to watch Acapulco Bay? Join a review session every Saturday at 9 p.m. and get the stories all over again in The Guild, Esmeralda, Sunset Beach, Rosalinda, and many more in our nostalgic digest on TV3. Relive our evergreen reality shows on Sundays at 4 p.m. sharp. Thank you for making us #1. TV3 at 20, reshaping news and creating stars.
Hello again, it's now time for Mission, and this program is sponsored by Star Ghana with support from DFID, Danida and the European Union. In a very first story, they call me the cursed one, saying I've given birth to mentally unstable children. I feel very isolated and want to move away from this neighborhood. These are the words of 36-year-old Golda Nunu, who wanted to commit suicide because society constantly mocked her for having 4 children with special needs. While the Mission team caught up with her as she spoke on the need to have an inclusive society. When Golda got married, she was hopeful of a blissful union that would produce children who would become responsible citizens. When she finally gave birth, all her children had special needs, 3 of them having cerebral palsy. Her first child was not present at the time of her visit.
It is not easy to have 3-4 children with challenges. No mother can sit down and say, I'll just look at my children with these disabilities. I went through tough. People rejected me. I had a huge stress on me here and there without knowing even myself who I am.
According to her, she is constantly mocked in society and has to lock her children indoors for fear of stigmatization. The situation is so bad that children in the neighborhood refuse to play with her kids, and she cannot buy items from the neighborhood. So, on Wednesday, October 18, she decided to end it all.
A nearby person who is at our residence just told me, you have given birth to a mad children and a sick children. You will always suffer. That is why you are going through this. I ran into my room, kneeled with tears. Even that day, I didn't control my tears.
Attempts by Golda to get her children in a special needs school proved futile as they were refused admission.
When we went, they assessed these children, my children, and because of the toiletry training, we wasn't able to qualify to go to the school. So my children, or especially the lady, didn't qualify for that. So we're supposed to come home and train her before they will accept her at the school.
2 years ago, Ghana launched the inclusive education policy to ensure that all children go to school regardless of their disabilities. However, many parents of children with special needs think that the policy is not inclusive enough. Majority of children with special needs in Ghana are still not in school in spite of the inclusive education policy. Golda wants the Department of Social Welfare, non-governmental organizations, philanthropists and corporate organizations to come to her aid, at least to get the children in school.
These children are special from God. So whatever it might be the case, society should accept us. They shouldn't reject us. We are part of them. But this only thing that has differentiated us is being given birth to children who are disabilities doesn't make us that we are not among them.
The mission team will follow up on Golda's quest to have her children in school.
So we will follow up from duty bearers to ensure that Golda's children get an education. In other news, lack of adequate furniture at the Tebu MA Basic School in the Gas South municipality has compelled students to drop out of school, while students now do academic work on their laps.
According to South Africa's late President Nelson Mandela, education is a key tool to change the world. However, education on the African continent is said to be lagging behind. In Ghana, little has been done by successive governments to improve rural education. The Tebu MA Basic School appears to be a neglected school. Established about a decade ago, the school has been grappling with issues of inadequate desks, classroom blocks and textbooks. Pupils routinely perform academic works on their laps because there are no tables. Few pupils have resorted to bringing their own tables and chairs from homes to improvise. Although the Tebu MA Basic School serves pupils in 15 scattered communities, current challenges remain a disincentive, forcing many to quit the school.
Some come and then they look at how, especially in KG and the lower primary, how they sit on the floor. Some have to squat, some have to lie down on their chest and all of that. Most of the wards carry their children back.
This dilapidated structure serves as classroom block for primary 6, junior high school 1, 2 and 3 pupils. 6 pupils share a bench and 4 others sit on a dual desk, a situation negatively affecting their health and academic activities.
We suffer from our spine and a lot, so we need adequate furniture.
Pupils go through difficulties accessing their classrooms during the rainy season. Caroline Luthrot is a teacher and a circuit supervisor at the school.
Far back in the 2012, when I was released to this place, and before then they were studied under trees and we were not having structures. When it rains, it's very terrible.
Assistant Headmaster Gustav Yamwa said persistent plea to get the Gas South Educational Directorate to address their predicament have failed.
I must confess, it's very difficult. Look at where we are, commuting from that place, the financial cost involved, the risk is only through Okada we used to come here. And so when you wake up in the morning and then you think of all these things, if you are not very careful, you might find somewhere and sit.
The Tebu MA Basic School is not a beneficiary of government's free school feeding program, and it is also not disability friendly.
And that's it for the segment. But before we go, Issa, talking about inclusive societies, we need to do more as a country to ensure that parents who have children with special needs are able to send them to school.
You've said it all. I believe duty bearers are also watching, and they can also come out with policies, because children like that cannot solve their own problems. They need those who make the policies to come to their aid, and I'm sure they are watching.
Well, this program is sponsored by Star Ghana with support from DFID, Danida and the European Union. Join us again same time on Saturday and Sunday for another exciting edition. Thanks for watching.
We go pass circle today. Charlie, I think there's space in your car. Hello?
Are you still hopping around trying to catch a ride?
Hey baby, you wanna ride?
Thanks, I'll walk.
Perhaps your jalopy is slowing your game. Stop making life tougher on your kids.
Owning your dream car is made easier and less expensive. Do you have an account with Unibank? If not, you only need to open a salary account with Unibank for just 3 months and voila, you are good to go. Do you earn 2,000 Ghana cedis or more? Then this is your chance for your dream car. With the Ride with Irata in partnership with Unibank promo, simply pay 20% of your desired car and see your dream car come through. Visit Irata Motors at East Legon, opposite Body Talk on the Lagos app. Call us on 0244 445 268 or 0264 137 708.
Rata Motors, we set the true standard. The sports segment is brought to you by
Good evening and welcome back to News 360 here on TV3. My name is Anako Jafre with a sports update. Let's begin with boxing, where self-acclaimed local boxing king Brian Makamoko, aka Bukom Banku, has been handed his first professional defeat by Basti Samir. The talkative Bukom Banku was handed a 7th round knockout in front of a massive crowd at the Bukom Boxing Arena on Saturday night.
It was a moment of truth as Bukom Banku sat on a stool in the red corner with a deep cut on the right eyebrow. The 12-round non-title championship began with a challenge over the size of the gloves. The two boxers then shook each other towards the end of round 1 in a give-and-take exchange that kept the arena agog. Younger Basti proved he was up for the task as he stood tall and firm even in the face of intimidations from Bukom Banku. Basti Samir went all out in round 3, dropping Banku twice to show his readiness. By this time, most pundits were convinced it was only a matter of time for Bukom Banku to be defeated. Banku threw in his all in a bid to fulfill his pre-match mantra of stopping his opponent in round 6, but failed to even record a knockdown. Basti Samir came back in a stronger force, pinned Bukom Banku to the ring, but the referee stepped in. A clinical punch sent Banku crashing onto the ring and out of contention. Basti Samir ended the undefeated record of Bukom Banku to improve his own record of 16 wins, 1 draw and 15 knockout. Bukom Banku now has 29 wins, 1 loss with 22 knockout.
And Portia can't even watch the bout, after what happened last night. But former world featherweight champion and WBC Hall of Famer Zuma, the Professor Nelson, has given thumbs up to Basti in his win over Bukom Banku. The experienced former boxer, however, advised Basti to take his training seriously if he should aim at becoming a world champion.
I'm very excited about this fight. This is a very tough fight, and I'm happy I'm here tonight.
Did you see this coming?
When they started, I know that this fight cannot go to the distance, but I don't know whether Basti or Bukom Banku.
What do you think Basti should do to bring Ghana a world title?
What Basti is supposed to do is what he's doing. We all here witness what happened. So all we have to do is we have to pray for him. You have to take the boxing serious. You can get it if you really want it. If he really wants to be a world champion, he knows what you have to do.
How can Bukom Banku come out of that defeat?
Boxing is a boxing. If you lose, it doesn't show that that's your end. He lost. He haven't lost before. He didn't have the experience of losing. Today, he has lost. Now he'll know that he can lose. So when he's training, he will train very serious.
Meanwhile, Same Basti has offered Bukum Banku a rematch of that bout that happened on Saturday night. So let's see if Bukum Banku will come back for a rematch. But now we turn our attention to the Ghana Premier League, and the league ended earlier today for the 2016-2017 season. And these are the results from the last games of the league. And as you can see pretty shortly on your screens here, Ashanti Gold beat Aduana Stars by 4 goals to 2. Aduana Stars already champions of the Ghana Premier League. Bechem United stayed up in the league after beating Great Olympics by 1 goal to 0. So it means that Olympics, the team with the most nicknames in the Ghana Premier League, are back to Division 1. And then Brekum Chelsea also beat Tema Youth by 2 goals to 0, and Tema Youth are back to Division 1 where they came from. And then Bolga All Stars, already relegated, were beaten by Busuan Dwells by 3 goals to 1. And then Elmina Sharks also beaten Wa All Stars by 2 goals to 0. Accra Hearts of Oak also drew 0-0 with Inter-Allies. That result meant that Inter-Allies stay up in the Ghana Premier League. They will be in action next season when the league resumes. And then Liberty Professionals also beat Kumasi Asante Kotoko by 2 goals to 1. That result was crucial for the Dansuman Bay side because it secured them their status in the Ghana Premier League. And then West Africa Football Academy also drew 1-1 with Mediama in that particular one. But now let's go and hear from 2 of the coaches who ensured that their teams got the results they needed today to ensure that they stayed up in the league. But before that, let's look at the Ghana Premier League table. So as you can see here, the C in front of Aduana Stars represents them as champions of the Ghana Premier League. West Africa Football Academy were hoping to win the league. That didn't happen for them. They came second, Accra Suffolk third, and Ebusian Dwells fourth. So the whole story around this is that Kumasi Asante Kotoko are out of the top 4 for the first time in many years in the Ghana Premier League. But the first half of the league table is completed by Brekum Chelsea, Mediama, Wa All Stars, and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Let's go to the bottom half of the Ghana Premier League table and show you how things did go as far as that is concerned. So the second half of the Ghana Premier League table coming up shortly for you. There we have it. Elmina Sharks, were 9th in the Ghana Premier League, and that's the club owned by Dr. Papa Kwesi Indum. Ashanti Gold were 10th in the Ghana Premier League. Liberty Professionals also secured their Premier League status, finishing 11th in the league. Bechem United and then Inter-Allies. So these are the teams relegated, and you can see there, Tema Youth back to Division 1, Great Olympics back to Division 1, and then Bolga All Stars also back to Division 1. So when the season begins next year, you won't see these 3 teams in the Ghana Premier League. But now let's hear from 2 coaches. Karim Zito is coach of Inter-Allies, and then Michael Osei is coach of Liberty Professionals. They've been sharing their thoughts on staying up in the Ghana Premier League for another season.
Inter-Allies have qualified to stay with the Premier Division again, which means the reason why I'm being brought to come and help has been achieved. So I'm very
entertainment news is brought to you by
Well, tonight in this segment, though the show started after 10 p.m. instead of the scheduled time of 8, patrons got the worth of their money, while patrons stood on their feet to enjoy various performances by different artists. Meanwhile, xylophone media signees Kumi Guitar and Obibini Buafo were exempted from the performances. A report by Adjoa Amufose.
After over 2 hours of lateness and an almost half-empty auditorium, Becca gave her fans an epic moment to remember. The Dark Superstars concert, which looked dull from the beginning, picked up after a couple of performances. It was characterized by back-to-back performances comprising old and new tracks of hers. Becca brought on A-listers from both Nigeria and Ghana to share in the celebration. The likes of rap guru Sarkodie, MI and Ice Prince did not disappoint the crowd. Dancehall magicians Shatawale and Stoneboy, as always, took fans to another level of performance. Afro-pop hitmakers The Wandikos, Mr. Easy and Patu Rankin stage act almost brought the roof of the National Theatre down. Former First Lady Plodu Ajman-Rawlings stole the show halfway. However, the surprise act of the night, BET award winner Wizkid, set the whole place on fire when he jumped on stage out of the blue to entertain audience. Though a great night, audience were disappointed as they expected xylophones Kumi Guitar and Obibini to add their performances to the 9th tour list as had been advertised, but that did not happen.
Well, I'm sure we'll wait to see Becca at 20. More years ahead for her to perform great tracks for us. That's it for this edition of News 360. My name is Lisa Mwani.
And I am Portia Gabo. Coming up is Ghana's most beautiful.
La